If you feel stuck in life, stuck is not your problem. The problem is that you are looping patterns of thoughts, emotional baseline, and behaviors. Today, I'm going to help you uncover your blocks and, more importantly, break free from this survival loop so that you can start creating wanted results in your health, finances, relationships, and business. So let's start at the top. What it looks like when you're looping, which just means you are living in a survival loop. And here's what that loop looks like. There are only 3 things that create every result in your life. And it is your habitual thoughts, emotions, and your habits. So let's write this down. Thoughts are always the first domino. So everything begins here at the top with your thoughts. And it's your dominant thoughts that then create your emotional state, your emotional baseline. Now, I have found, especially working with clients and people that I talk to, you're stuck in emotions like stress, worry, doubt, fear, and anxious. And it's these emotional states that keep you looping, but it's your emotions that drive your behaviors and habits. So think about it. Things like being inconsistent, procrastinating, lacking motivation, and these 3 put together create your state and identity. And it's your state and identity that produce every result in your life. So, dominant thoughts, first domino. Your thoughts that you have on repeat are then creating your emotional states, and your emotional baseline then drive your habits and behaviors, creating your results. That's it, these 3 things. And then what happens is you look at your current results. You look at the dollars in your bank account, you look at the status of your relationship, you look at your business, you look at your health, and you reaffirm your current circumstances that then go right back up to the loop. See, I'm not capable. See, this always happens for me. So you're not stuck. You just keep looping habits and patterns of thinking and feeling. And if you don't break, if you don't interrupt your thinking and feeling loop, you get the same habits driving the same results. So the first step to creating change, and what I really want to break down for you today, 3 steps to interrupt and break this loop. Because once you break this loop, now you have agency again. Now you have internal power and authority to start thinking new thoughts, creating new emotional states, driving new behaviors, getting the dollars, health, love, and success that you seek. So let's bring into these 3 steps to create change. These are the 3 steps that I walk all of my coaching clients through. If you want to fast track where you are, break this loop, and start creating a better reality, I invite you to apply for one-on-one coaching. You can click on the link below in the description box or visit my website, heatherhakes.com. This is how you fast track where you are to the life you could be living. So let's bring in these 3 steps. The first step to creating change in life is always awareness. So in order to interrupt this loop, that 95% of your day is driven unconsciously in autopilot, you have to become self-aware. You simply have to step into an observer state. Think of this as self-inquiry, becoming curious. Okay, what thoughts do I have on repeat? Your emotions, I like to think of them as your check engine light. Emotions are not good nor bad. They are feedback. Pay attention to your emotions, because emotions drive behaviors, and emotions are driven by the thoughts that you are thinking. So emotions are everything. They are the check engine light. And when you start becoming aware, okay, I'm constantly stressed out, sleepless nights, overthinking, dwelling on the past, living in shame and regret and doubt. by observing the emotional states, you can then start becoming aware, what thoughts are you thinking? And considering you have 60,000 plus thoughts a day, you could never monitor all of them. But the good news is 90% of your daily thoughts are in repeat from yesterday. That's why changing your outcomes, changing your results always comes down to becoming aware of the patterns. You are a set of patterns and habits. That's it. So in order to create change, you have to become aware of the thought patterns, the emotional states you're living from, and the habits that you are taking. Second step, despite your current circumstances, which I want you to realize, the dollars in your bank account, the status of your relationship, your health, or where you're at in business is old news. It is feedback, and it's only a reflection of who you've been. It's a reflection on your past states of being, state, and identity. It's simply reflecting and giving you feedback of your thoughts, emotions, and habits. So for example, let's talk money. Money's an easy one, and so are relationships. But if you're currently stuck in survival, you don't have enough money, you're barely getting by, okay, take inventory. When you're stressed out, you're in survival. So actually, let's get clear on this. You can only be in one of two states. You are either in survival mode, which literally means you're getting unwanted results. So you're either living in survival mode, which is all of these disempowering emotional states: stress, worry, doubt, fear, being anxious. And you know, survival mode is giving you unwanted results. So you can only be living in survival, or you can be living in creation, which means being self-aware, being intentional, having control and directing your mental and emotional states, driving wanted behaviors. So in every moment, you're in one or the other. You're either survival, stress, worry, doubt, fear, or you're in creation, mindful, intentional, directing your thoughts, getting wanted results. The big thing here, none of this, do not judge yourself. Everything is feedback. You have to step into a state of being curious. Okay, I want to become self-aware. I want to become curious of what's going on internally so that I can create wanted results in my life. So the second step is you have to create a clear aim, despite where you're currently at, which does not matter. And if you keep talking about and thinking about what's not working, you're staying in that loop, getting more of the unwanted. So I want you to get a really clear aim. What do you want your finances to look like? And don't be vague. You need clear, tangible desires. Give me a dollar amount. Is it 100 grand? Is it 7 figures? What is that dollar amount? What do you want your health to be? Do you want to be toned? Do you want to be able to run a 5K? Do you want to just not be stiff anymore? What do you want your health to be? What do you want your relationships to feel like and be? What do you want success in business? You need to write down tangible goals. Your brain is a goal achieving machine. When you give it a target, and now you're thinking and feeling in alignment, and you are directing your mental emotional states, you naturally take aligned actions, getting wanted results. But you have to have these two steps in line first. The third step in this process, in order to break the loop and start getting wanted results in all of those major life buckets, step number 3 is all about application. And these are the steps and the frameworks I coach my clients through. It truly comes down to changing your life is simple. It's not necessarily easy at first because you have to do some excavation, becoming aware, creating a new foundation and a blueprint. But here's the thing, the time is going to pass either way. So it comes down to choose your heart. Staying stuck in this loop is hard. Breaking the pattern is hard, but choose your heart. I choose to show up for myself every single day because I know that, number one, we all do, but you have the power to completely transform any area of your life when you become self-aware. So let's talk about, what do these daily disciplines look like? What is the application piece of this? Now, I'm going to walk you through one of the frameworks that I teach my coaching clients. So we can write it out over here. And I really do. I want to keep this simple because I don't want you to overthink and overanalyze. And honestly, what has taken me years and thousands of hours of research and trial and error, I'm giving to you in this framework. So write this down and put this into play. What I'm going to walk you through is what I call my 5R method. This will help you interrupt the loop. It will help you give that forward focus, and it helps you to not only recalibrate your identity, because the state and identity you've been operating from is giving you unwanted results, which means you literally have to reinvent yourself. What I teach my clients, creating version 2.0. Once you regulate your state and recalibrate that identity, it just comes down to the daily disciplines, which I'll walk you through, reconditioning new emotional states that naturally lead to aligned habits, giving you wanted results. So the first step in my 5R method is to regulate. This step is what took me so long to understand, and why hustle and grinding and working harder and trying new strategies isn't giving you wanted results. No matter what you're trying to do habitually, if you haven't regulated your nervous system, if you haven't broken free of this survival state, nothing you do matters, because you will only revert back to survival mode. And here's the thing, you are built to, your body is meant to keep you safe. Your body is not meant to create and grow and evolve and have abundance and love and connection. Whatever you have rehearsed and whatever is familiar and known, even if it's miserable, your body wants to keep you in the predictable. So that's why the idea of reinventing yourself and choosing your hard, there is a literal, neurological, biological, and energetic death of the old self in order to create the new self. So there is a period of discomfort, but time is going to go by either way. So you can either thrive in your life or survive. And the fact that you're tuning into this means I know you want to survive. So you have to regulate your nervous system first and foremost. Once you are regulated, you can do this through meditation, breath work, journaling, creating presence and calm, because you're breaking free of the stress, worry, doubt, and fear. You're breaking free of that internal chaos. And once you create internal calm, we can move on. The second step is when we rewire. So when you rewire, this is now consciously choosing with your 5% mind, consciously choosing, what thoughts do you want to be thinking? What emotional states do you want to start living from? It's not stress, worry, doubt, fear. It's not chaos. You want to have confidence. You want to have calm. You want to feel grateful, joy, and happy. So then we move into the third step, which is rehearsing this. Now, I put this 5R method together all in one swoop in my morning meditation. My morning mindful practice is everything because it sets me up for the day. I'm consciously choosing who I'm going to show up as so that I get wanted results. And this is the 5 steps that I work through. So we've regulated, you now know the thoughts and emotional states you want to live by. Now we're rehearsing. And you need to have a sensory experience, a vivid imaginary experience, how you will show up in meetings, with clients, with your spouse, with your kids, at the gym. How are you going to be thinking and feeling throughout the day? And what habits or actions will you be taking? You want to mentally rehearse. And what this really comes down to is embodying this new state of being. You are embodying this next version of 2. You are teaching your subconscious mind, this is who I am. Fourth step, this is truly the hardest. remaining. Having a great morning practice is amazing. But if then you, by 9 a.m., revert back to and default into these old states of being, it would be like having an organic, healthy breakfast and then eating fast food junk all day long. Your health and fitness never going to change because that's how you're showing up, right? Those are your actions. So what it comes down to is remaining in this state. Now you are human. You're going to have thoughts, you're going to have emotional states that want to pull you back. That's okay. Staying self-aware is everything because you can catch and replace. You can catch the self-doubt and go, no, not today. That's not who I am. So once you remain in this state and this becomes your new normal, these become your new dominant thoughts and emotional baseline. You naturally take aligned actions because that's who you are. So for example, nobody pulls me out of bed in the morning to go to the gym. Nobody is forcing me to be healthy or intentional with my eating. That is who I am. I am healthy. I live a healthy lifestyle. I live an active lifestyle, but that's because it's wrapped up in my identity. It's just who I am. It's just my natural state of habits because I know the results that I get. So once you remain in this state and this becomes your new default, you then receive what seems like synchronicities or serendipities, but you start receiving opportunities, resources, people come your way for financial opportunities or lovers or business connections. Because life is always happening through you, not to you. Remember, back when we're doing the awareness piece, your current results are feedback and it's a reflection of your state of being. So when you shift your state of being, you're naturally going to start receiving a new reflection, new results. And this is what it comes down to. So the application piece is, if I had to boil it down to literally these only 5 things, if you can put these into play and you start learning how to regulate your nervous system, to break the stress loop, break the survival loop, to stop rehearsing these mental emotional states, and you now consciously choose who you want to be, and you're acting in alignment throughout the day, and then days becomes weeks, and weeks become months. You literally shift who you are being. And when you shift the state and identity you operate from, you naturally get wanted results in your life. So remember, no matter where you're at, it is not final. It's only feedback. So if you want to interrupt the loop and you want to create wanted results in life, you have to put this framework into play. I'd love to hear from you. Drop your questions down below. And make sure you subscribe to my channel so you're the first to know when new videos drop. Give me a thumbs up and I'll catch you on the next one.